that is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode number 71 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to discuss the wonder of professional wrestling. And this is a little sneaky episode because we weren't supposed to do one this week. And I'm joined not by three other friends, and not by two others, but just the one, and it is just Brett today. Hello, Brett.
Hello, and finally, I'm not the last name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are.
By default. Well, okay. Yeah, I am still the last name, aren't I?
Yeah, but you get to be the first as well. In fact, I mean, it's, every time I do, or we do an episode when it's sort of one person or two people, quite often it's not you there, Brett. So this is your chance to maybe have a little dig at John and Sam.
I can't do that.
Ah, too nice.
Yeah, I have no digs to give. I'll be nice.
Well, I think they're a couple of pricks. And this podcast is much better without them. We are here because, I mean, as I said in our last podcast, which was our AEW Double or Nothing review, we said at the end of it, and then we've had a long string of pods, and we were going to take the week off. We were all really busy this week and over the weekend, and that we'd be back next week instead. But what happened was NXT Takeover 25, and we watched it. And we absolutely loved it. And Brett and I just basically had to talk about it. I don't think the other two have even got around to watching it yet. They've been so busy. But they're in for a treat.
Yes, definitely. As always with Takeover.
Yeah. So this is going to be a slightly different from our usual episodes. Format will be a little bit different. So let's just get into it now. It's going to be good.
Drives Riddle back first. And then the Messiah of the backbreaker utilizing that aforementioned hardest part of the ring.
NXT Takeover XXV, or 25,
XXV,
as the normal people would say, was held at the Webster Bank Arena in Bridgeport, Connecticut, with an attendance of, have a guess, Brett, how many do you think were there?
Oh, is it even 1,000?
Oh, what?
No, I don't know. Well, because it's not one of the big ones, and I know they have quite low numbers for I know Full Sail's very low numbers, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, it was bigger than that, but I mean, again,
5,000.
Well, again, Wikipedia don't have the stats. Obviously, WWE aren't going to release anything,
so it's just a guess. So I could have been on the money.
Well, yeah, you're right. I think it was more than 1,000 though. The attendance of that arena is 10,000.
Right,
a 10,000 seater, but there certainly weren't that many. But
no, they probably did the old curtain out the
I think they did.
Seats.
And obviously, when there's 10,000 people sat there, then they can't have an entrance stage and a big screen and anything like that. So
yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, of course, this wasn't your standard NXT TakeOver show. It wasn't coming on the same weekend as one of the big WWE shows as we'd usually expect, which was, I mean, I guess why it kind of felt like it went a little bit under the radar, or at least the build to it did.
It was very low-key. It felt like when I was watching it, should there be a takeover now?
Yeah, it did feel weird.
Yeah, is this because it didn't have much pomp to it either?
No,
it just felt like a long NXT show without all the storyline flashbacks. All the advertising bits they do in a usual NXT.
Yeah, that's very true.
The fluff.
Yeah, no fluff. There's definitely no fluff in this.
No fluff.
God. I mean, there were actually a couple of pre-show matches, which we'll just mention, people might be interested. Obviously, we haven't seen them. Dark matches. There was Keith Lee versus Connor Reeves, and then there was Mia Yim against Bianca Belair.
Oh, I would have liked to have seen that one.
Yeah, they've been having some decent matches. But yeah, as I said, it just didn't feel like there was a huge build to this. I mean, I will admit that I was a little bit behind on NXT. I did catch up, but I haven't seen loads of build on social media. But you just know with an NXT takeover that it's going to be bloody good, and I think we can agree that was the case.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the first ever NXT happened on when was it? May 2014, and it was headlined by Neville versus Tyson Kidd for the NXT Championship. Brett, sorry, it's just because it's just you on this episode, you're going to get put on the spot a lot. But can you name anyone else who was on that first NXT Takeover?
Oh,
got any guesses? Any guesses?
When what year was it?
2014.
Okay, I'm gonna guess Tyler Breeze, maybe.
Yeah, Tyler Breeze had a match against Sami Zayn.
Was Juice Robinson, aka CJ Parker, was he around then?
No, he wasn't on that. He may well have been around, but he wasn't on the card.
I don't know.
You have your misery.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through the whole roster.
That's true. The Ascension featured.
Right.
They had a tag match against Kalisto and somebody else. I don't have it open now. I just made a couple of notes. But Charlotte featured against Natalya in a match where Charlotte was accompanied by Ric Flair and Natalya was accompanied by Bret Hart. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the headline match, Neville versus Tyson Kidd. So they've come a long way.
Pretty awesome, though.
Yeah.
Those two.
So 25 takeovers, and of course, as we were told during this, Johnny Gargano's featured in 15 of them.
Wow.
Mr. Takeover, Johnny Takeover, as they say.
With his many names.
Yeah, he's just synonymous. Oh God, I struggle to say that. Synonymous with NXT takeovers. And obviously, I mean, now this could well be the end for him, as we'll get to later. So somebody else is going to have to take up that mantle, if that's even possible. Probably not. But yeah, so as I said, the usual structure of our podcast is probably going to go a little bit out the window. We're not going to do any sort of best of the rest, worst of the rest. We're not going to do MVPs. There's going to be no ratings. We're just going to fly through each match and discuss the beauty that was NXT Takeover 25. So first things first, Brett, how happy were you when you saw that it was 2 hours and 38 minutes?
I didn't even register the time. I just started watching.
Well, as you know, and that's the first thing I check these days.
How long do I have to watch?
Yeah, I mean, that is just an absolute joy. Partly because it means that I can sit and watch it in one sitting in an evening, without making myself go to bed really late. So I did do that on Sunday night. It was lovely just to sit and enjoy all of it. But you just know that it's going to be all killer, no filler, particularly when it's sort of 5 matches. You're going to get lengthy matches that have time to breathe. Yes,
yeah, totally. And the first match as well. I think that's mostly why I wanted to podcast about this.
Okay.
Even though it was a solid takeover, that first match was just obscenely good because I love both those guys. Tenfold.
Do you want to talk about this match and then just log off and I'll
finish the rest? You do the rest.
That'd be weird. I don't think I've got it in me to do a whole solo podcast. I thought about that over the weekend and I was thinking,
can I do it?
Said they can't do it. Could I do one by myself? And then there are just those times where your words get stuck in your head or you need somebody to bail you out.
Yeah. Or to feel like you're talking to someone as you're doing it, like just talking to the ether.
Exactly.
Bit rando.
I mean, never say never. The thing I'm worried about is I might do one. I'll be like, man, I enjoyed that. Maybe I could just do this by myself. Maybe I could do like a daily Hardest Part of the Ring spin-off show. But don't worry, guys. I'm not going to do that. Don't you worry. The first match was Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. 2 of our absolute favourites. I mean, should be 2 of everyone's favourites. They're just 2 of the absolute greatest, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that sometimes Strong goes a bit under the radar. Obviously, some stronger characters in Undisputed Era, but and he's kind of like quite generic looking in a way in his look, like clean cut.
He is, but I think the Undisputed link up has done a lot for him character wise.
Yeah,
maybe not obviously promo stuff, but certainly in ring character and in and around the guys is like. I think it's a character that really suits him. Yeah. In his look. But like he's just phenomenal, like as a wrestler. Like
he is.
The obviously, what do they call him? The Messiah of the backbreakers or whatever that mantle is. But like it just brings out so much destruction on each person's back when he wrestles people. It is a joy. There were some absolute moments in this as well. There
really were. I mean, it was there's such a brilliant pace to it. I thought it had a frenetic energy, as John would say. But it's just endless action, and I love that. You know, I love a match that builds and builds and builds. But
yeah,
if you're gonna start off with these two guys, then why not just have them beating the shit out of each other? And I think Strong, he's so good at that, and he's so stiff, but he sells really well as well, and he's a really good grappler. And to get to do it with someone like Matt Riddle, who we've obviously loved for a long time, it was a beautiful thing.
It was. I think there was even like this combo that Strong did. I think it was near the end where like Riddle was on the ropes, but in like the center, and he just like was flying from side to side with like the forearms and a knee, I think it was, and it was just so good. Yeah,
that was excellent. It's just the speed of the sequences they were doing, and Riddle. Oh my God, he's got such a great repertoire. And it looks as if he's added to it, because he's doing some things that we didn't see on the indies. Like, I think he sort of stepped up and thought, let's get myself a couple of new moves.
Yeah.
I mean, he won it with the Bro Derek.
Bro Derek.
Another move that involves the word bro, but I'm a fan of that. I like that.
Yeah. It works.
And this was just so up my street. This is the wrestling I like to watch. And for me, when it ended, I was over the moon, and I thought that's a 5-star match for me. That or at least it's a match of the year. It's a match of the year contender, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it was. I think, and probably to a degree with a lot of this takeover. I mean, I'm not totally like, as I say, I thought I was up to date on NXT, but I might be like an episode or two off.
Yeah,
but. Like with this one, it didn't feel like there was much story in anything. So this was
true, actually.
An awesome match, and it sort of had good story within the match, but there was no bigger story to really like invest emotionally in, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the only criticism I could give it, because it was just like, as you say, it was awesome. It was jam packed. So many like sequences. I loved Riddle's. Again, he pulled it out. I can't remember what it is though. Is it a knee into a German suplex? What does he do?
Yeah,
mate, my mind, because I did watch this one a couple of days ago.
No, this is where we need John or Sam to come in and tell us what that move was.
Yes, because he did it before, but like last time he did like a sequence of a few moves. This time it was just like that, but it's like so quickly into that German suplex, and it's just awesome. And like you say, it's grappling and it's striking. It's just got everything. And even I think Matt Riddle taken to the sky again with his floating bro, whatever it is. Sweet, great.
Matt Riddle surely is going to be headlining WrestleMania within 4 or 5 years. I know I've said this before, but I think his dream of retiring Brock might come true. I mean, he's still talking about it all the time.
Yeah, it would be amazing, but I don't know if Vince and Brock will allow that.
Yeah, that's the only problem, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. But yeah, he should. I would totally agree. Like, he's charismatic. He's got a great look, and he's a amazing wrestler. So he should be headlining Mania. But then loads of guys probably should.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, maybe a safer bet would probably be Velveteen Dream or something like that, because of the homegrown sort of side of things. But
yeah, you never know how it's going to go once they go main roster. And this whole bro thing, like we've said before with NXT, sometimes these gimmicks are, perhaps not layered enough. But, that's just his character. So maybe with him it works.
That's just him, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not him making, it's not him having to put on a persona or anything. Like, it is Matt Riddle.
Yeah. I just think he's got the look as well. I mean, in terms of his physique, in a way, it's like the most perfect physique on the whole roster. Like, his look is just amazing, and I think the whole barefoot thing kind of adds to that. The fact that he's got the prowess, the background in MMA, and he's just I can't speak highly enough of him, and it's really very exciting to just see where this goes and what he ends up doing, and hopefully he'll take a belt at some point in NXT and get called up at the right time.
Yeah. Do you think, just quickly on this match as well, and perhaps like maybe a sad note for Roderick Strong, but maybe not, because, you know, it'll get him having stellar matches all the time, but is he going to be the one that always loses, but is always there to put on you know, to showcase his opponent?
Maybe. And I'd be fine with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, because it would be loads of great matches for him, and not everyone has to, you know, win a belt or be main event. If we get to see matches like this, then I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah.
But it just feels like that might be his role.
I don't really see him being a successful call-up. But then you never really know, because he's the kind of guy that they may well call up, and then you'd be like, "What? Why have they done that? Like, surely there's other people." And then you never know. It might just work because we think it wouldn't work on the main roster. Then it may well work. So who knows? Who knows? And it all depends what happens with the Undisputed Era, of course. But obviously, there's more matches coming up that feature those guys. So we should probably move on to the next one.
Yeah, do it.
Just a quick side note. Beth Phoenix, what do you think?
She's no Renee, is she?
She isn't, but she's
not terrible.
Much better than Percy Watson.
Yeah.
I know that's a low bar.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I thought she did pretty well in this up until the last match, where she basically said nothing. And I know part of that is being unable to get a word in edgeways.
Yeah, Ronaldo in this one, like there's those moments where he's repeating what he's saying and he's getting more excited as he repeats, you know, his like phrasing or whatever it is, and then the last one, it's like, it's not words, it makes no sense, it's just like
yeah.
It's brilliant. He did that so many times in this show.
It was so good. In fact, I think a bit later on in one of the matches I refer to that. I had to get a little clip. He doesn't even say hardest part of the ring, but I got a little clip. And in fact, we should mention that this was a great match, because he did say hardest part of the ring. Yeah,
clearly with such enthusiasm. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and obviously listeners will have already heard that, because I will have edited it in for the first sting. So there you go. Go back and have a listen if you want. I actually got a message from a mate about this, who there was a tweet which said, if you're not currently watching NXT Takeover, we're only 1.5 matches in, and this is already the greatest announcing performance in Mauro Ranallo's career. This show is insanely good. And yeah, he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And I caught loads of moments where like the camera was the opposite side looking towards the announcers, like through the ring and through the action, and you saw him like in all his like standing up moments and his like mid standing up, I'm up, like he gets really excited by it. Yeah, like I don't even think he has to fake it. No, like he's got as part of the whole.
He's got such passion.
Yeah, and it's great, and that sort of excitement does transcend in general.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, totally agree. He's just got intense enthusiasm for what he's watching. And then, as well as that, he's got the accuracy in the calling the spots and coming up with these puns. Like, it's like, how many of these things is he writing before?
Well, did you see there was one moment, and I think it was in the last match, and like the camera, like the two guys were outside the ring, like in front of the desk, I think.
Yeah.
And they just like done a super kick, and he had like a stack of paper, and he was like quickly rummaging through it, trying to find, I think, what Adam Cole calls his super kick.
Ah, right.
But it was like a stack of paper, and he was getting through it really quick, and then he found his notes, and he was straight in there. Legend.
So he does loads of prep, and he does loads of admin. And I thought I couldn't love him anymore. What an incredible man. Anyway, on to the next match, which was the what was it? It was. I was going to say, yeah, well, it was for the tag team championships, wasn't it?
Yeah, because
what are they called?
War Machine, War Raiders, Viking Experience,
Viking
Raiders,
Viking Raiders.
They are.
Yeah, Viking Raiders. That's it.
Those guys, they relinquished their belts, didn't they?
Yeah, I quite like the way they did that. I quite like the way they were like, let's face it, you know, we're going to go and cause havoc on Raw, and nobody's going to win these off us, so we'll just leave them here. See you later.
Yes. Yeah. And it works. And also, if they have that match to give the belts over after they've already had the call up and they're not going to be on NXT anymore, it's sort of like you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it doesn't really put the winners over, so they might as well just relinquish.
Yeah, that's really true, actually, because that's the kind of thing they may well have done in the past, or that you'd see on the main roster anyway.
Yeah.
So this was a match with 4 tag teams, and the winning team would come out as the newly crowned NXT Tag Team Champions. And we had the Street Profits versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus the Forgotten Sons versus Undisputed Era, which was Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Yeah. And first things first, Street Profits. Obviously we know what eventually happened, but I love their ring gear and I love their gimmick.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, their
sure?
entrance. No, I am. I'm totally on board with Street Profits, and their fun times and engaging the crowd and stuff. I just thought as soon as they had their entrance first and like their get up and didn't he have a crown on or something?
Yeah, he did.
Just like they were doled up that extra level from from any other appearances, and I was like, and none of the others did have that extra, so I was like, are they winning?
Yeah,
it just felt like that was like we're winning the belts come out.
Well, Ronaldo did point out that it was their takeover debut, so that kind of made me thought, well, this is a real special occasion.
Yeah, okay, I missed that.
Like how you get special ring gear for WrestleMania and stuff like that. I sort of felt it was kind of that, and the other thing is that I love the fact that they've had such a slow build.
Yeah.
And like all the different vignettes they've been doing out in the parking lot and stuff. It feels like
from the way back
2 years or 3 years or something. They've come a real long way. And I think they've got a lot to them in terms of their gimmick and their in-ring ability, which is really cool.
Yeah, and they've got a great dynamic because, they've got that great aspect that Montez is the rangy guy that can fly stupidly high on a frog splash. And,
amazing.
Yeah, and then Dawkins is like, he's the muscle.
Yeah.
Sort of like the more bully guy. And it just like, it really works well in their special tag moves and stuff. It suits. It's just a great dynamic rather than having 2 of the same, It's nice.
Totally. What about the Forgotten Sons? I hate the Forgotten Sons. I think they've done quite well with this push that they've had, but I hate them purely for their choice of font in their entrance video.
Or lack of choice of font.
Yeah.
I said to my comment as soon as I see that, as they let the intern do that.
Yeah, and they've been like, right, add text box, and then they haven't changed the font.
I mean, they're a biker gang. It should be like some black letter or something, shouldn't it? Like but it's just like, I'm not saying it is Arial, but it's just like, it's the default font on the program. Myriad, probably.
Yeah, I opened my font folder shortly before starting this podcast, just because I was like, I wonder if I've got that font. And I went through and I was like, what could it be? And I started looking, and I realised that a little while ago I deleted Arial, I deleted Times New Roman, I deleted all the generic dull fonts because I was thinking I never want to use them. I'm never going to need them. And it turned out I did need them because I needed to find out what the Forgotten Sons font was. So if any listeners are complete saddos like the 2 of us are enjoying this little segment and know what that font is, then get in touch and let us know. We're not going to get any responses to that, let's face it.
No. But yeah, like the Forgotten Sons, they were definitely my... I love all the other teams in this match.
Yeah,
like I'm really high on all of them, and I totally love Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. I know they're never going to win anything, but they're
doing so well with what they've been given.
Yeah, exactly, and they're both they're both like so good at what they do. So yeah, they've done brilliantly, like you say, with what they've given. Another enhancement team, I guess.
Yeah.
Until Oney Lorcan goes singles.
Right,
which feels inevitable.
Yeah, they'll have a split. That'd be nice, actually. A little split with them, maybe a few between the 2 of them. Those matches would be good.
Yeah, and it might also be a good push for Lorcan to have that step up.
Yeah,
because he wasn't really getting it when he was a singles guy before.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, the Forgotten Sons. I don't love the gimmick, and I think they were, they weren't like crap in this match.
I think it was good. I like the stuff with them in this match. I like the Riker coming out and the fact that it was, no DQ. The fact that he could just come in, he tipped up and cleared house. And then they all, that bit where they all did the beatdown on him was absolutely excellent.
No, it was a good payoff.
And then, in fact, we should say that shortly after that, we had that back body drop onto the ladder, which led to the most wonderful Mauro Ranallo clip ever, which we alluded to earlier. Let's play it again now.
Only Larkin out! Back body drop into the ladder! Back body drop into the ladder!
So good. Oh, God. Do you know what? I love that so much. Let's play it again now.
Only Larkin out! Back body drop into the ladder! Back body drop into the ladder!
Okay, that'll do. Twice is enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's not dwell on Forgotten Sons too much then if we love the other teams loads. I thought, as with the ladder match at Money in the Bank, there were some big old ladder bumps in this.
Yeah, there was courtesy of one of the Forgotten Sons, not Wesley Blake, the other guy. There seemed to be a few uncomfortable falls from the ladder when he knocked it over and stuff as well.
Yeah,
they weren't perhaps executed as cleanly, and so people took a bit of a painful slide.
Yeah, and when Kyle O'Reilly fell back first onto the ladder after he was trying to climb it as well, he took some big. But he always does. He's just. I think he loves it the way he chucks himself out the ring when there's no need. Yeah, but it's just brilliant.
Wasn't it? It's Kyle O'Reilly. He was sort of at the other side of the ring on the floor, so he was sort of out of it at that period, and there was the spot with the
suplexes with the ladder
the ladder, and you just saw him trying to think, where shall I go, and then there's a ladder flying at him.
That was dangerous.
It was.
And in fact there were a few of those where it's sort of not your standard ladder spots, I thought.
No, which was good, because there's been some great ladder matches in both TakeOver and now in main roster.
Yeah.
Recently, so it's probably a difficult one to have at this point, I guess, because you don't how much further do you go in a match that can really hurt you?
No, totally. It wasn't just sort of leaning the ladders up in the corner or bridging, the smaller ladders onto the bigger ladder. I really liked the bit that the Street Profits did with the where Dawkins lifted up the ladder with somebody lying on it. I can't remember who it was, and then the leapfrog over onto the ladder.
Yes.
It's just really good. There's just some great moments. Another Ranallo moment that I really enjoyed was when Cutler chucked, who was it? I can't remember. I think it was Kyle O'Reilly onto the ladder, and then Fish landed on him. And then Ranallo shouts, "They killed Kyle!"
Yes.
And then the blockbuster. What about that blockbuster from the Street Profits? So much height on that.
Yeah, That's the thing that I think is also great about Montez Ford. His athleticism just makes some moves that, I'm not saying that they're lame or boring, because they're not, but some stuff that maybe is a bit run of the mill these days just look awesome, because he just gets so much height.
And it's
untrue.
He's so long, isn't he? He's so long and spindly, so it just looks impressive in the air.
Yeah.
And obviously, the finish, the jump onto the ladder. The fact that the camera initially didn't really catch what he did to get onto the ladder, he just appeared. That looked cool. And then when you saw the replay of how he did it,
because it was so smooth, he hit it perfectly. There was no wobble, there was no nothing.
I know.
It was almost like he was surprised at how perfect he landed.
Yeah, and then when he reached up and got the belts, I loved his reaction. It was incredible, his open mouth and wide eyes.
Yeah,
and then as we said earlier, the crowd stuff afterwards, going into the crowd, celebrating everybody with the red cup. So I like that. That's a really cool crowd interaction thing that they're going to be able to do.
There was definitely a moment where Ford was like, "Okay, let's make our exit now," and Dawkins was like, "No, I'm savouring this, and I'm lifting up my belt again." So Ford was like, "Okay."
Yeah, maybe they know that
let's soak it up.
Yeah, they're going to probably lose those belts soon. Who knows? Okay, another great match, and two, intense matches with loads going on. And then the third match we got to was the Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze in the North American Championship match. Obviously, a really nice touch to have Tyler Breeze coming back on NXT 25. We had in the run-up to this on NXT him sort of saying that he's an NXT OG, an original guy.
Yes.
But I love that. I love the fact that they got somebody from the first ever takeover, and he's still got it. I mean, it's not like he's a veteran or anything. We just never get to see him wrestle.
No, and even when he has a match, we never get to see him wrestle.
Yeah,
because Like I was not watching NXT in Tyler Breeze's time in there.
No.
So I only know him from being on main roster.
Yeah, Fashion Police and all that stuff.
Yeah, and just like seeing what he's got in his locker in this match just goes back to what I say about how rigid and structured they are. How few of them are allowed to showcase their abilities on main roster.
Yeah. I think he's been a victim of his own gimmick, in that his gimmick was so good, and that Vince probably saw it and was like, God, all that selfie stuff and the Prince Pretty is so good, we don't need him to wrestle.
Yeah.
Let's just stick him doing the vignettes out the back. And I mean, I think we all enjoyed the Fashion Police stuff. It was really funny, and he was really good at it. But I mean, from this showing, just think of the matches we could have seen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm glad he changed his outfit from that purple and green thing that he wore for his bit before to challenge Dream.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
It was painful on the eyes.
Yeah. What about Velveteen Dream's jewellery? That was very dangerous. I thought he was going to wear it for the whole match. I was like, that is not a good idea.
No, it wasn't. I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to remove it before the match started, but it started and then it sort of just got torn away as time went, didn't it?
Yeah, he did it bit by bit.
Yeah, he looked great though.
Yeah. And then we had something I was really keen on was the selfie stuff, like bookending the match. Obviously, having when Dream was smashing Breeze into the announce table and then grabbed the title and did the selfie, that was really cool. And then obviously at the end of the match, they had the selfie at the end, sort of the mutual respect between the two of them with the selfies. Are very, very cool.
Yeah, I think.
What did you think of the match? Yeah.
I was going to say, all in all, this was. It was in no means a bad match. It was in no means a boring match. It was good. But we've seen so much better of Dream.
I agree.
I think so. This wasn't his best, and actually, I think it's probably mostly in part to the complete lack of an ability to build a story for this match.
Yeah,
which seems to be like Dream's part of what makes him so great.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Is like the feud and the story that he manages to create in the build up to the matches, and then the matches happen. So it really adds that extra layer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this match suffered a bit from the fact that it was following two absolute barn burners that are really pacey and some really stiff matches. And this I felt like I couldn't quite get into it as much. And again, that really isn't saying it was bad, like you say. It's just the slower pace, and I think there were clear times in this where you saw them communicating as well, didn't you? Like there were even times where you could hear it and you could see them talking. And obviously, we know that happens. We know it needs to happen, but most of the total pros are able to do that without people noticing. And maybe that is a little bit of ring rust for Breeze. Slightly out of practice perhaps, or maybe that's being harsh. I don't know, but
poor dude was bleeding out his ear. What more do you want from him?
That's true. That's never a good sign, is it?
No, I didn't look up to see if that was any eardrum issues or just a bit from the ear.
I think he's okay.
Yeah,
let's hope so. Anyway, any particular spots? I was a big fan of when he pulled out the Chun-Li style spinning heel kick, and I actually felt that was sort of the start when the match actually started to build a bit more. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, Breeze hit this great, I guess up thrusting knee. It was like a lifting knee, but to Dream's, to Dream's head.
Yeah.
Just caught him beautifully with that. That looked great.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was a nice moment.
I liked all the count out sort of shenanigans that they had, and then straight back in, and the Dream Valley Driver and the Purple Rainmaker, and just boom. And then, and when he pinned, I loved that when Dream was pinning him, he was looking at the camera, and then he crawled off him towards the camera as well. That's cool. He's great at that kind of stuff. The charisma is just off the scale. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, I think that was my other thing, was just that way that it finished. There was that sort of messing around outside bit, and then that 1-2 punch, and then it was over, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I guess in one way, it wasn't their greatest, or it wasn't Dream's greatest, so you know it didn't really matter or hinder it, but at the same time that sort of did lessen it a bit for me.
Yeah, I understand. Again, you know, on a show you can't have just 5-star classics for every single match. If this was a main roster match, we would have been absolutely loving it, you know, on any other pay-per-view.
Yeah, totally.
Still a very good match. And hopefully we'll get to see more of Tyler Breeze, but almost definitely that won't happen.
Unless he literally does appear back on NXT.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I've seen some people
you know,
saying he might, you know, there could be a rematch, but who knows. Right, moving on to the fourth match of the 5, and it was time for the NXT Women's Championship with Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai. But one thing I like about this is like a great mix of styles and sort of physicalities. Obviously, you've got Shayna, who is just absolutely brutal and big, hench, with her background, and then you've got Io Shirai, who is another tiny Japanese woman who's just not afraid to chuck herself and ragdoll herself around, but is also, you know, can go very stiff as well. Yeah. What do you think of this in general?
In general, I really enjoyed it. I loved some of the sequences at the end, like the counters between the Kirifuda clutch, and pins and all that sequence. And
they had the Mahastra cradle. That was in part of that, wasn't it? That was really cool.
Yeah, and then she sort of did the cradle, but then went to arch the pin, which then led to leaving her open for the finish, which was really smooth as well. Like for what Baszler's finisher is, and to get there and stuff with all the back and forth, I just thought that was great in-ring storytelling and really smooth.
Yeah,
in its decision and its choice. But no, I thought this was a really good. It felt like a really good indies match.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like watching a. I know NXT is much more indie, but it just didn't feel so much like I was watching a WWE product.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
match, which actually for me
that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing, but it says more for how Shayna Baszler has come on, because I've not at all hated her. I certainly think she's got something, but I've not been totally, sold or over on her thus far. But the way this match played out and her quality, I think she's getting better and better.
Yeah, we used to think she was so limited, and she was.
Yeah,
and I imagine it's going to be the same with the other two. Her lackeys, that they're just learning that there's only so much you can do in the performance center. You just need to get that match experience. I imagine they're having matches at house shows, but if they can follow the same path as Shayna, then we could have something special on there. And we're all hoping for the 4 horsewomen, all that the feud. I'm sure that will come at some point. We'll see.
Especially someone who chose Ronda Rousey in his roster.
Was that you?
It may have been.
Hey, I didn't mention that I picked the Street Profits in the draft. I got them, so I was delighted with the fact that they won the titles.
Yeah, I think that was a good and shrewd pick, because it did seem like there was something in them,
something bubbling
in the coming year.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were on my list, but I lost out.
Let's just hope it's not just a quick win, a lovely moment at the pay-per-view, and then they lose them back to Undisputed Era or something. But we'll see.
Yeah, they're probably obviously we're going to go on to talk about the final match, but there might be a lot of gold heading Undisputed Era's way.
Yes, there could well be. One final point I wanted to make on the NXT Women's Championship match was I agree, I like the match. I didn't absolutely love it. I liked it a lot though. But the beat down afterwards with the kendo stick and then the moonsault with the chair.
Oh yes,
it took it to another level.
I almost forgot about the moonsault with the chair.
We've never seen that before.
Amazing, and even actually before that, when Jessamine Duke and
Candice comes out as well.
The other one came out, and then Candice came flying out with the kendo stick, just levering them. That was that was really great to see as well.
I love the kendo stick because it always looks so nasty. And obviously
Yes.
it's got that flexibility that perhaps, it's probably one thing, it hurts, but it doesn't do a huge amount of damage in the long run. But it
Yes.
leaves some welts, it leaves some marks.
Yeah.
And we need to get a kendo stick for the next time we meet up. I bet Sam's already got one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay, on to the final match. The main event, Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. I like the fact that they sort of labelled this Cole versus Gargano 2. Sort of like, the Okada Omega matches.
Yes.
And I think, they deserve that to be listed among those matches, which Okada Omega matches, obviously some of the greatest of all time. I'm not suggesting that Cole and Gargano have produced 2 matches that are greatest of all time, but they are very close. They produce some bloody brilliant matches in the 2 that they've had.
They're awesome. And I'll admit, I wasn't totally with this match for a chunk at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching it and I was just like, it just felt...
Well, were you aware of how much time there was left?
Yes, I thought there was about 30 minutes.
Yeah. So that's something that I was speaking about that today, that the fact that, if you're watching it live, then you're just in there and there's jeopardy throughout because anything could happen. Who knows what's going to happen? But when you see on the network that there's half an hour left, in fact, I think when the bell rung, I think there was like 35 minutes left. You just know that you're getting a half an hour match, and so it makes you less invested in the early exchanges because you just know that it's just the build and nothing is likely to happen. It's going to be some nice wrestling. It's going to be faultless probably, but there's not. You're going to have to wait for a little while, and that kind of took me out of it a little bit, which I know is stupid and it's more about my attention span perhaps. But
no, it is, well, because I guess as we've mentioned, the pace and the intensity of some of the earlier matches, the frenetic matches,
frenetic energy.
It does sort of get you a bit, and even though both these are great and they just keep on delivering in these great matches, I think Adam Cole is great, but I don't love him. Not in that I don't think he's good. I just I don't totally gel with his character and all that stuff. So I thought that was perhaps it, and it seemed like they were going through what we've seen them do before. Mm-hmm. But like you say, it was a long match, so it was going to build, and they totally did build
they totally
it.
Got there.
And I thought, my worry was, even with the build, it was going to be what I've seen quite a few times now, whether it be against Adam Cole or Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
The same stuff, or the same type of story.
Yeah.
But then they started blocking each other's moves constantly, and then all these counters, and it was just and then they kept on going for the same moves as well, like the same, hitting the super kicks at the same time, and hitting each other's moves, but blocking them and
moves in the end, towards
dodging them and everything. And it was just that was the story in this one, was that they were totally on a par with each other, and they were always ahead of each other.
Yeah.
Then in the storytelling in the actual match was just that's when I totally got invested and thought, this is awesome, obviously.
This is fucking great. Yeah. The intelligence it must take to be able to put that kind of match together. Obviously, other people involved, but for the two guys to be able to remember, and that's the one thing about wrestling that always gets me, is how on earth are they remembering what they're supposed to be doing next? But it's just astonishing that they can put on a match for that long and it be that good, and it have the build and it have the story telling throughout it. Amazing.
Yeah. And even if they don't know, because I'm sort of learning that some of it's not all sort of said so much before, it's just before you're doing something. But even with those counters and those blocks, and when it's not blocked, even just that, the timing with each other just has to be spot on.
Yeah, it does. What did you reckon to the rapper that came out? I should probably look up his name. I like that. I thought that was pretty damn cool. I actually watched it twice.
I didn't watch it twice, but I did think it was cool. That was the first part where I thought, oh, this is a takeover.
Yeah, something a bit special. I watched it twice because I didn't initially realise that he was the lyrics were actually related to the Undisputed Era and to Cole, so I had to go back and then listen to it again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to go through the whole 30 odd minutes of this match in detail, but any other particular spots that you liked? I mean, I liked the quite early on the stomp when Cole had his arm against the apron, and Gargano jumped on it. That looked really bad. It looked like it bent his arm the wrong way. It looked so brutal. Obviously it wasn't, it was fine, because if that had actually happened, there's no way he'd be able to continue with a dislocated elbow. But I like that. That was cool.
Well, I guess the Panama Sunrise outside the ring, when Cole jumped down and then into the Panama Sunrise, which is a bit of a destroyer.
Yeah.
Like that looked smooth and sweet, and then they did that later with the counter, but then like to hit it again.
What about Ronaldo when that Panama Sunrise came out and he said, "Panama Sunrise, are we seeing the sunset on Johnny Gargano's championship reign?" It's like, oh, Mauro, please stop it. You've been so good already. You don't need to do this. Save some of this. And when he did, what was it? The timing of Cole makes metronomes jealous. I was like, I've got to remember that. Although I don't know when I'm ever going to say that in real life, unless I get a job as an announcer.
Yeah, no, he's also smooth as.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, actually, like I think a lot of the stuff. I mean, like I say, I enjoyed all the trading and the countering each other, but it was a lot of stuff was coming from Cole, like his Ushi-Garoshis, like they just look amazing. Then he hit like the burning hammer, but then he stuck his knee out, so it like his his face hits the knee on the way down as well. Like there was a lot of great stuff that came later on in this match.
There was. Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, the Gargano escape from Cole, followed by the last shot, but from Gargano. And then we had that incredible sequence, which, I mean, I can't even remember everything that happened because it was so fast-paced, but it literally took the roof off in that arena. And it produced one of the nearest falls I've ever seen. I think it was the reverse Rana into the last shot or something.
Yes, yeah.
That was lovely.
That was. And
then obviously we had the ref stuff. The argument with the ref, and then the chair coming out and Gargano taking out the ref, and then missing with the chair, and then the super kick and the pin, but the ref wasn't there, all that sort of stuff, which again adds to the match, makes it slightly different from their previous match. And and also that it was good because there was all the ref shenanigans, but it didn't really play a part in the finish. Yes,
which sometimes, like when it's not needed, like so I like quickly jumping back, that was my problem with the ending. I've remembered my problem with the ending of the Dream versus Breeze match.
Okay,
is Dream didn't need shenanigans to get over on Breeze. So like, and when there are shenanigans like that, it annoys me when they're not needed. Story wise or thingy, like this guy needs to get over here. He doesn't need to let Breeze have that bit of respect or something in that, because he's not on the NXT roster, he's on the main roster, and like there's not really been much story. So in this, like I thought the shenanigans were going to lead to Undisputed helping out or something, but that would have been what they've done before, and I wanted to see it sort of finish without that. So it was great because it added to the story, but it didn't sort of lessen the win.
I think that's very true. And obviously, I mean, the win, the end, the last shot from Adam Cole, I wasn't expecting that, were you? I thought Gargano was going to have a longer reign.
Yeah, I did too. I can only, like, I think you probably alluded to earlier, is whether Gargano's going on to,
onto the main roster.
The main roster or to something different. I mean...
Which is always worrying.
Yeah, I saw there was talks of... or there's some chatter on the old things that you're never meant to believe, wrestling internet. But there is meant to be like a couple of call-ups coming. So
it's weird, isn't it? Because they've just done a load, and they haven't even been using Aleister Black on the main roster, really, have they? And even
No, I meant to ask the other week, is he injured? Like, what's happened to Aleister Black?
He's been having house shows with Buddy Murphy, who's another one who hasn't been used. And Cedric Alexander hasn't been used. And I know some of them are getting involved in the 24/7 championship. Anyway, let's not use this as an opportunity to moan about that stuff.
Yeah, no, I especially without the rest of Undisputed, I wasn't expecting Cole to go over, especially because, they'd lost. They'd all been losing.
Yeah. Yeah, I expected him to lose, and then for the angle to be, there's some sort of implosion from Undisputed Era. Or even Roderick Strong comes out and causes him to lose, which then sets up a big thing between Strong and Cole, which is sort of seemed like the angle that perhaps they were going to take at one point. But
yeah, they were certainly going that way, weren't they?
Yeah, but something like that could happen. Perhaps he'll be all arrogant and be like, "Look, I did my job. Why the hell didn't you guys do yours?" Although they all seem best of friends at the end of it, so who knows?
Yes. And my only other comment is, I think there were probably more super kicks in this match,
than
any Young Bucks match.
Yeah, yeah. This was a proper super kick party.
It was.
But it's funny that you bring up the Young Bucks, and obviously that brings to an end our review of the 5 matches. But what an event to have off the back of Double or Nothing. You get this Double or Nothing and everyone's like, this is it, this is proper wrestling, this is how it should be, this is the alternative to WWE that we needed, this is the quality wrestling that we need to be seeing week in, week out. And then NXT comes in and goes, hey, we've been doing this for 25 shows and we're going to keep doing it, and we've got the best wrestling product for some people in the world.
Yes, yeah.
So
it helps that they have such short episodes as well.
Oh, it's totally my favourite thing. An hour a week and then 2.5 hours to 3 hours on the pay-per-view. It's just my favourite. I love it. Absolutely love it. And that's why I can't help but feel that we're just always going to do NXT TakeOver pods now, even if we have to squeeze them in with 2 of us. So yeah, there we go. We were going to do a quick one and it's coming up to nearly an hour. So sorry about that, guys.
My fault.
No, we're just passionate. But yeah, let's have a little break and then we'll do all the admin, which we love and the listeners love, so stay tuned.
Lacey Lane, who caught by Craven. And now the power comes out. Lacey Lane bounced off the apron.
And that is the hardest part of the ring. Nothing but steel under that.
Oh, no. This is bad. This is bad.
Right. Next week, we are going to be back. Sam and John are going to be back as well. And we're going to do a top 5, which we said we might do. We haven't decided what it's going to be about yet. We will most likely put a poll on Twitter over the next couple of days. So keep an eye on that. We'll come up with a few options and you guys can vote on the one that you'd like to hear us do. So yeah, got that to look forward to next week. Brett, you can do your usual thing, info on how to get in touch with us.
Send your emails to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com. Catch us on the social media, being Instagram, Twitter, and I don't even think we use Facebook really.
Yeah,
anymore.
don't bother about
So don't
Facebook,
worry about Facebook. We are at Hardest Part Pod. And check out our shop, which is hardestpartofthering.bigcartel.com.
Fantastic. And until next week, when the full team will be back together, that is goodbye from me. Adam is goodbye from Brett.
Goodbye.
And that was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest